Hello, Fuda. We greet you from the United States of America, from Portland, Oregon, in the upper left-hand corner. And we're so sorry we can't be there at this year's Writers Forum, especially because we have a book that's been translated into Chinese and is being presented at this year's forum. I'm Laura Ross Paul, and this is my husband, Alex.
Together we co-authored our book, They're Mine and I'm Keeping Them. It's about Laura's breast cancer treatment using cryoablation. We wrote this book along with Dr. Peter Littrup of the United States. He's a pioneer in the field of cryoablation.
Dr. Littrup has pioneered prostate and many other types of cancer treatments using cryoablation. But in 2003, when we approached him, he had never used it for breast cancer, although he did have a trial going on breast cysts. He examined me and he felt very confident that he would be able to get my multi-focus breast cancer, and that was 2003, and so we went from our home in Portland, Oregon to Detroit for treatment.
The reason that we went to see Dr. Littrup is the fact that when Lori had her diagnosis for breast cancer, she was told here in Portland that her only option was a mastectomy and that she really was not interested in having that done. So I tried to research on the internet, and I was fortunate enough to find some people that were doing work with cryoablation and prostate cancer, and they were able to connect us with Dr. Littrup, which was the reason we went back to Detroit.
So I volunteered to be patient number 1 for breast cancer, and I'm really glad I did.
An important part of our decision to move ahead with the cryoablation, because it was an alternative treatment at that time, was the fact that after talking with the doctors there, we realized that Lori could get a mastectomy after the cryoablation if it was for some reason not successful. That took a lot of the risk and fear out of the decision to move ahead with an alternative treatment at that time.
When we were in Detroit, we learned that not only would I be able to save my breasts, but getting the freezing done might give me an immunity to my own breast cancer, which of course was very exciting.
We were so impressed by the success of Lori's treatment that after coming back from Detroit, we decided to set up a website and write a book to spread awareness of this treatment throughout America, because, as Lori said, she was the first woman to be treated this way.
Even though I've been cancer-free for 12 years, several years ago, Carmanis decided not to continue funding their breast cancer program. And part of this was because it wasn't covered by insurance, and there still to this day hasn't been a trial, breast cancer trial using cryoablation here in the United States. So when they discontinued their program, women kept coming to our website and asking, where can I have this done? I knew that we needed to find some other place to send them. They were so desperate to keep their breasts and to also perhaps get an immunity too.
When I'd done my initial research into cryoablation, I discovered that Fuda was pioneering work in China in this field, and their name kept popping up as a viable option for women to go there and receive cryoablation and potentially avoid a mastectomy.
I knew that other Western women probably would be hesitant to travel as far as China to do something experimental and new unless another Western woman went there first and checked it out. I told them about Fuda, and I suggested it for many of the women, but no one was interested until a woman from Canada named Faye Zaharondek called me and said she was thinking of going there, and she knew I'd had cryoablation, so what did I think? She was having a reoccurrence of an aggressive cancer in her breast, and she was already in 4th stage. I told Faye that not only did I think it was a really good idea, I thought it could be her only hope, because surely she would need the immune effect in case there was any metastases in other parts of her body, which by now she knew there certainly was. So Faye made her plans to go, and I asked if she would let us cover her story for our website. That's when she said, I think you should come along too.
We were both excited to travel to China, but it turned out that I was not able to go there to document Faye's first treatment because I had a medical procedure at the same time. Fortunately for us, our movie filmmaker son, Louis Paul, was willing to travel to China and document this first step of the treatment.
I kept a journal of the trip, and my son took many photos and did a lot of filming. We were lucky. Not only were we able to cover Faye's story, but at the same time we were there, there was a medical forum going on, and doctors who were pioneers in this field from all over the world were there. And I got to hear all about the most exciting cutting edge things going on with cryoablation as the main treatment. Even my doctor, Peter Littrup, was there, and we got to be reunited in Guangzhou.
Our book originally was made up by three authors, myself, Lori, and Dr. Littrup. We wrote using Lori's journal of her treatment, and I acted as narrator, and Dr. Littrup spoke about his cryoablation experiences. I'd finished writing the book by the time Lori came back from China, and we were so excited about what she was doing at Fuda that we decided to incorporate Faye's treatment into the book to spread awareness about the advanced treatment options at Fuda.
I believe that's the part of the book that Chinese have interpreted and is being released there now. The part of Faye's treatment that had impressed me the most was the CIC, or the combined immunotherapy for cancer. This is where they take some of your blood and boost the immune characteristics of the antigens and give it back to you. And I think it's a really brilliant addition to the protocol that the Chinese have added. And I was so impressed that I came back and told Alex about it, and we decided together that it would be a really good idea to go back to Guangzhou and both be treated at Fuda with some CIC treatments.
I had actually contracted prostate cancer in 2010, and I was fortunate enough to be treated with a technique called high-intensity focused ultrasound, which does the same thing in the body that cryoablation does. It kills the tumor and leaves the dead cancer cells in your body. And once they're dead and the body goes in to clean out the dead tissue, it can see the DNA structure of the cancer is different than regular tissue. So about 40% of the time, a person's body will respond with an immune response naturally. And we were interested in going to have the CIC treatment because they withdraw your blood, isolate your antigens, replicate them, and then inject them later back in your body. And this boosts the occurrence of the immune system up to about 80% of the time, which is an extremely effective post-tumor killing treatment as compared to chemotherapy. So we were very excited to go to China.
This is really treating the cancer at a cellular level, and we couldn't see that it would hurt. I remembered discussion with Dr. Xu that he said, you know, as you age, some of those cells that are in your immune system that know what your cancer looks like, some of those cells die off. So it's really a good idea to come back every once in a while and get some CIC so that now you have a bigger army that knows what to look for.
So in the spring of 2014, Lori and I were treated at the same time with CIC. We traveled to Guangzhou, they withdrew our blood, and then while they were replicating our antigens, we took a nice trip around China on Viking tours and then came back and were treated together. They do advise you at Fuda to bring somebody to take care of you, and we made the mistake of actually being treated simultaneously. So both of us needed help, and we would argue as to who would be going to get water in the middle of the night. But fortunately, we survived this, and we did
still
well.
like each other.
Yeah. And so we want to thank everybody at Fuda for taking care of us and for advancing the science of cancer treatment. We really appreciate your presence on this planet so much.
So now, very sadly, I have to tell you that Faye passed away last fall. She succumbed to her very aggressive cancer, and on our last phone call together, she assured me how appreciative she had been for the help that she'd gotten at Fuda. But by that time, she and her husband had exhausted their financial resources, and she just wasn't able to continue the treatment that Fuda had suggested for her. Still, she was very appreciative for the 2.5 years that she'd had mostly cancer or symptom free, and she got to spend that time with her husband and low morbidity, and she just couldn't say enough wonderful things about the Fuda staff and hospital.
We really want to thank everybody at Fuda, Dr. Xu, Dr. New, and all the researchers and the staff there for advancing the treatment of cancer. I think this CIC and cryoablation is phenomenal, and it's going to gain a lot more acceptance in the world as time goes on. We really, really appreciate what you're doing.
So I truly think that Dr. Xu is going to go down in history as one of the truly great men of medicine. He's already in history as a great man of medicine. And Dr. Xu and Dr. New and the whole staff, all of them are just the most dedicated medical workers I've ever seen. And I think when we look back on this awful fight against cancer, Fuda is going to go down in history as a place where a difference was really, really made. We really appreciate you and all you're doing. We appreciate your publishing our book. And now I think it's time to say goodbye from
and
Oregon.
Hello to Segundo and Coco and Katie.
Hi, Coco. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Rita.
Yeah, everybody.
LaFawn. Everybody, we miss you. We want to see you again.
Thank you.